What's up, my ninjas? Hello and welcome back after a prolonged absence to the channel. Uh, if you've read my community post, I actually tried recording this video originally around 2 to 3 weeks ago, and it was instantly taken off YouTube, and I was given a strike that prohibited me from posting or doing anything on my channel whatsoever. And now, finally, I am back to re-record. So it's pretty obvious here that any kind of rational thinking, logical thinking about the problems that young men face in the modern West is totally not acceptable on YouTube these days or in any kind of big tech mainstream platform. So going forward, I'm going to be a lot more self-censoring, a lot more cuckolded in what I'm allowed to say personally on this channel. And I'm going to keep a Rumble account. So I have a Rumble account that's live now. If anybody is interested in viewing that, you can find the original uncensored version of this video. But on YouTube, I have to be as self-censored and as moderate as possible in order to not have my entire channel blown up, basically. So today, moving on from that, today's topic will be the decline and fall of the red pill. So this is a pretty interesting thing a phenomenon that I have noticed personally, where a lot of these red pill accounts are rapidly declining in popularity. And meanwhile, the black pill is rapidly ascending in popularity. You have figures like Clavicular. He's probably the biggest manosphere figure right now, the hottest one. Uh, I mean, in terms of his popularity, I don't go that way. But meanwhile, all of these old guard red pill figures, the old guard of the manosphere is diminishing. Young people of today, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they don't seem to be as interested in those figures, although they were huge in the mid 2000s, the early 2010s, when I was in high school, when I was first getting into these kind of topics. So I want to see why. What are the reasons for the total decline in the popularity of the red pill? And that's today's subject. Before we go any further, we actually have to define what the red pill is, as opposed to the black pill. Because the term red pill, it's sometimes used as a general term, like a synonym for the manosphere. Anything that would get you banned off YouTube, apparently, if you say it about male-female relationships, about women, about modern dating, about how to attract women, anything that's all the things that your mother wouldn't have taught you, basically. Anything that could get you get a strike off YouTube, as I have. But I'm going to define it in a much more narrower sense, where it's in direct contradiction to the black pill. And so some of you who are already BP'd, you may think of the black pill as guys who are always obsessed with, flashing their Bugattis, flashing their wealth, obsessed with status, um, obsessed with game, always trying to shill you products in order to teach you these things or how to obtain these things. But the red pill really it comes from a more philosophical direction, right? The red pill it comes from the belief that everything is based on the power of the individual. It puts the focus on your personal initiative. Anybody can achieve anything they want, despite whatever they've been born with, whatever their background is, if they just put in the effort, the work, they have the correct knowledge, right? So anybody can become Chad. Anybody can become a player and start slaying many, many women, many young ladies, right? And so their obsessions actually naturally follow downstream from that. So their obsessions are going to be things that you can change. And then they're going to make the jump that these are the things that matter most. These are the things that really move the needle in terms of attracting women, in terms of getting lots of young ladies, right? I can't say anything derogatory, diminishing. Of course, I have total respect for women. Whoever on YouTube is watching this, we're just going to call them young ladies. So their obsessions are, for example, physique, right? Because physique is something totally changeable. You can go to the gym, you can eat right, and get yourself a very attractive physique. And they'll say that's what women really care about. The thing they care about, number one, is physique, right? or wealth. Wealth is something that can be obtained, right? So that's why they're always talking about, oh, you got to lead with your wallet, you got to flash your Bugatti and stuff like that. This is what women really care about. In fact, the former resident of Romania, whose initials are AT, he was actually recently on a stream with Clavicular. And Clavicular was saying, I think the thing that matters most is looks. And AT, he was smiling at the young man, shaking his head. No, 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 it's wealth, young man. So these are the things that Red Pillar is really obsessed about. Status, which is this sort of nebulous thing where it comes from, oh, if you're one of the crowd, right? If you're the guy that all the other guys are looking up to, you're the guy ordering shots for everyone at the bar, you're the guy flashing all of these nice items. If you have status, women will naturally gravitate towards that guy. You need to have an abundance mentality, I would say. And of course, game being the collection of social skills, charisma, body language, which can allegedly make women more attracted to you physically. Now, as opposed to this, the black pill puts all of the focus on things that you cannot change. A black pillar would believe that everything that makes you attractive to women, you're born with. So I'll say, so popular phrases for black pillars are over from the first trimester, things of that nature. It's over. It's over for you. Over if you're not this, this, and this, right? So players, the Chads, are bored. They are not made. And so our obsessions are things that you are born with or things that you are extremely limited in changing at any rate. Things that happen in your development, right? Face is number one. Height is number two, possibly tied with number one. It's a big debate going on. And so other things an intelligent black pillar, such as myself, would say would be a little bit more nuanced. And we would say that it's not that these are the only things that matter. These are things that most matter. So physique, absolutely. You should work on your physique. Physique will make you a more attractive person. But if you take a guy with an ogre face, right, 5'2", is his physique is having visible abs, a six pack, shredded, lean, peeled? Is that really going to move the needle with women as much? And so, what a black pillar such as myself would argue is again, it's over from the first trimester with you. So let's keep going. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what inspired me to make this video. So I'm not here to pick on this guy. If you guys know who this guy is, I just came across his channel by dumb luck. It wasn't promoted to me or anything. Look, 600, if you make 650 videos on YouTube and you can't even crack 2,000 subscribers, that may be a sign that your content is not really reaching the audience you want it to reach, right? 650 videos and you can't even crack 2K. This guy is just shitting out videos left, right, and center, and nobody's watching. Nobody's coming up with it. Apparently, he's been voted top three POA text game. Dude, who's voting for you, right? If this is top three, I hate to see what, bottom 20 looks like, right? And again, I'm not here to pick on this guy. I'm sure this guy actually believes what he's saying. I don't believe it, but I'm sure he believes what he's saying, and I'm sure he probably makes a decent amount of a chunk of cash from his consultations and stuff like that. On YouTube, it matters that you have a paying audience. It doesn't really matter how big your free audience is if you're trying to turn it into a business. But it's clear that as far as the culture is concerned, this kind of rhetoric is not really catching on right here. And to the left here, we've got a gentleman I like to call Scamza, uh, who is a young Indian man obsessed with scamming his young followers out of their mom's credit card payments, because I assume they're all under the age of 12 here. But this is exactly what I'm talking about, of people who are just not catching on, in the case of the guy I just spoke about, or people who are rapidly declining in popularity as all of their scams become rapidly apparent. So Scamza right here is he preaches on one hand a lot of things that red pillars would traditionally like to talk about. He preaches the power of hard work, the power of the importance of going to the gym, journaling, taking cold showers, no F. I'm being very self-censoring here. And these are all good things, actually. I personally also promote these things. I think they're incredible. They'll really help you for your personal life. In terms of getting women, the jury's still out on that one. But the reason that these scams are falling apart is it was revealed this guy is not even following his own advice. He tells you, eat right, go to the gym. Meanwhile, he's injecting anabolic steroids up his asshole, right? So, not to be too graphic about this right here, but this is exactly the reason that the red pill is falling in popularity. And now on the right-hand side here, we have two figures. I think they're actually still quite prominent. They still have quite a big following here. But notice the reason why they have a following here. So we have, again, AT, and then a gentleman known Amru Fudl. I don't even want to say his actual name. I don't know what could get me banned off YouTube at this point. But the reason that they maintain their popularity is that they've actually branched out what they talk about, their subject. They're not just talking about male-female relations, dating, marketplace, although of course that's still something that's big for them. They're not talking about just traditional red pill topics. They're also started talking about what you might call the political red pill, talking about, what's really going on in the world these days and who's running what. And I'm not going to say anything more about that, who is running what. But if you follow these two content creators, you know what I'm talking about. But the point is, they've sort of grabbed onto the fact that the dating red pill is not really catching on. So we need to branch out and start talking about something that really is catching on fire with young people these days in order to stay relevant. And that's exactly what they've done. Okay. So here are the reasons that I believe the red pill is declining in popularity right here. These dudes are all old heads, okay? They're old. They are out of touch. They are speaking the reality of being a 50-year-old geomaxer in Colombia, Brazil, Thailand, Philippines, because they can't get anything. They can't get pee here, right? They can't get they can't get P here, so they got to go to where it's easier, right? But then they teach you, who still lives in the West, how to just do what I say, and you'll be like me. You'll have the opportunity to bucks for poor young women who probably make, $5 a month or something like that in USD. So the thing is that even if you don't go to the Philippines, you don't geomax, dating in your 30s and 40s as a buxer, it's simply a lot different from dating as a young man, as a Gen Z or as a Gen Alpha, to the point where any advice they could give you is pretty much completely irrelevant for young men. Again, these guys are old guys. They're paying for it. That's all they have to say. Why do you think they go to Philippines? Why do they go to Brazil? It's because they're paying for it and their money goes further in some of those places right here. Meanwhile, you're a young guy on a college campus, on a high school campus right here. You're trying to get, the girls in your classes, trying to get their interest right here, trying to hold their interest over social media, trying to text them, trying to get them out on dates, trying to get lucky maybe. You are really depending on them finding you attractive, being viscerally attracted to you right here. Um, your money, you don't have any money. It's not going to go anywhere right here. And the other thing about them being old that I want to talk about very quickly is that their rhetoric, I notice, is very aligned with the morality of an older generation right here. And this is a very notable generational gap that I've noticed in this country, the United States, my country, where people of an older generation, they have this firm belief that, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you got to work hard, you got to work for it. You want to become rich, you want to become successful, you got to work for it. And they transfer that to all domains of life. You want to become successful in the dating marketplace, you got to work for it. Just as long as you put in the work and you keep grinding, you can get the young women that you want. Whereas young men, these days, we are a lot more pessimistic, and I hate to say it, but almost nihilistic to an extent there, is that we grew up in the aftermath of the 2008 recession. We are people who believe, everything's dead, it's over, burn it down, both parties hate us, don't bother voting. And we're a lot more receptive to some of these BP narratives of, over from the first trimester, there's no hope for you if you don't have, the ideal I don't know, gonial angles or whatever. So I'm not saying this is correct. And I actually think the older generation's rhetoric, that's a lot better in many ways. It's a lot better in many ways, actually, um, their rhetoric. It just makes you a more developed person when it comes to your financial life, other aspects of your life. It's just that applied to dating, it's completely off. Okay, I can't say the R word right here, but a stupid appeal to morality. So you'll hear a lot of people, a lot of red pillars, they don't even bother touching on the black pill and what faults it might have. Even though I do think that many other black pillars, they do make mistakes, they do over exaggerate at some points, but they know if it actually comes down to a survey versus survey right here, um, then they don't have a shot, right? They don't have a shot if it actually comes down to survey versus survey, because we have all the data, we have all of the evidence on their side. There's no data to support there. The BP is backed by science, the RP is backed by COPE. That's the sad reality of it. So what do is they do an appeal to morality fantasy fallacy where they just attack you on an emotional level. Oh, the BP is nihilistic. You're encouraging men to give up. Oh, or this is a favorite one. I've actually gotten this one in my comments myself, where, oh, this is just sad. You're just pathetic. This is just really sad, guys. Wow. Things like that. Well, not at all adhering to the substance, the meat of the matter right here, because of course they have no leg to stand on. And the other thing I think is really ironic about this that I just want to talk about real quick is that the same guys who are telling you, making an appeal to morality here, are themselves promoting the most degenerate lifestyle, full of, messing around with random women, taking substances that are not legal and stuff like that, doing all sorts of immoral practices in all of these third world countries that they like to geomax to. And then they have the nerve to come to us and say, oh, we are sad, we are pathetic, we are nihilistic and immoral right here. Okay, if you're if you're writing blog posts telling guys to hide their little baggies before the young ladies that they're paying for come over when you're in Colombia or Brazil, like playing with fire does, shut the hell up and never talk shit to us again, frankly. So that's what I have to say about that. The other thing is that, quite frankly, we did do the work. So a lot of times red pillars tell us, "Oh, you got to do the work. You're copping out. You're not putting in the work." But the reason that young men today don't believe in the red pill is we did do the work, and it turns out it doesn't actually work. Going to the gym has never been as mainstream as it was now. I even remember when I was in elementary, middle school, right here. Going to the gym, that was something for athletes. That was something for people who are really into football right here. Now it's something that all guys do. You walk into a random engineering class at a university right there. Most of those guys are probably gym goers, you know? We have all these fitness influencers promoting working out, getting shredded, getting lean, and stuff like that. It's not as uncommon as it used to be maybe 20, 30 years ago when guys just didn't really do that. Guys, they went about their day, they went to work. They weren't, maybe they played sports, but they weren't really concerned about getting a huge physique. Bodybuilding was a totally freakish thing. It wasn't mainstream at all. Meanwhile, now we talk about, oh, you got to shoot your shot, game, day game, text game. This is what red pillars like to talk about. Men today, Gen Z guys, Gen Alpha guys, are shooting their shot more than mystery over social media, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. How many, if a guy is active on dating apps and he's really trying on the dating app, how many young ladies is he swiping through? Quite a bit, right? And the irony of this is, as much as our red pillars hate us, the BP actually grew out of the disgruntled rejects of the PUA movement. If you've ever heard of PSL, PSL-based face ratings, right here, what does that P stand for? Well, it stands for PUA hate, and that was an original site that these young men that I have here were big on and achieved popularity, niche popularity through it, through the site called PUA Hate. And that site was all about guys who paid for these courses, who did the work, who tried to learn these skills and stuff like that. and they got nowhere with it. They got nowhere with it. Why? Well, just look at them, frankly, if you want to know why. And that's how the BP filmed. So as much as they hate us, we are their shadow, effectively. We are the disgruntled rejects, and we're coming back for a vengeance to knock out the RP once and for all. And lastly, but not least, definitely not least, the scamming never ends with the red pill. Everybody's got another course to show you. Everybody's got a DVD. Everybody's got a program. Everybody's got a way that you can unlock a woman's inner mindset. Blah 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 blah, whatever, right? And with all of this constant sleaze, and it really is sleaze, because none of these programs are worth the code they were written on, right? So all this constant sleaze with every single one, it's the tragedy of the commons, right? So you can have one guy like Mystery make a course and he can become successful, and maybe the ideology can be sustained that way because only so many people can buy Mystery's course, right? But then you see other guys, they say, "Hey, I'm working a crap 9 to 5 job. This guy, Mystery, he's selling, BS on the internet, and he's becoming fabulously wealthy, famous, going on TV shows, talk shows, and stuff like that, talking about it. Look, everything he does is publicly available. We all know the program. I can bundle the same information in a course and sell it as well. Why not, right? But the problem is, if it's the volume of all of these guys doing this, and after a while, the whole river of the red pill has become saturated with sewage. And now it's garbage, and now everybody's running away from it, and they're coming to someone who has the brutality to tell it as it is, and that is black pillars. And I do want to make one more point here, and this is a little bit more nuanced. It's that since the RP became popular in the late 1990s with people like Ross Jeffries and Mystery, to now, in the year 2026, the world has changed. Social media, it's not just given people, let's say, young women, more ability to practice hypergamy, for example. It's actively changed how young people are thinking, how young women think. Think about this. uh, The selfie, getting really close to your face and taking a photo and then spreading it all the way across the internet. Uh, Even back before internet, just the fact of being really close to a person's face, like the selfies I have here of these young ladies. I'm cracking myself up every time I say the word young lady, by the way. I want to say a different word, but I can't say it on YouTube. But that's a very intimate part of your face that you're looking at when you're getting really close to it. Most people, you would never actually get that close to a person's face in real life. But now, because of the internet, we can see every pore, we can see everything. And furthermore, your face is everywhere, right? So Snapchat is a messaging app. It's designed just for communication. But for some reason, you got to take a selfie of your face every time you send it right here. So who you are as a person, as communicated through, your conversations, your interactions with other people. Now on this app, it's inexorably tied to what you look like because people can see your jawline, your side profile, every part of you, your hair, your gonial angles, your clavicles, everything, right? It's now there is no separating your person, who you are, your personality, whatever, personality from your face. And so when you present yourself to the opposite sex, the thing that matters most now, I think, and to an extent, it's simply because of dating apps and social media. It's given women a lot more options. To an extent, that's the reason for it. But there's also the fact that I believe that looks are more matter. It has become more important. They have become more important because of social media, because your face is who you are now. Your face is all you present to the world on social media and all of these apps right now. A 12-year-old boy, he wakes up, he eats his Cheerios, and all he does is he sees all of his classmates now posting constantly on social media. And and now that's what he realized. This is what matters. It's my face. And that's what inspires a person like a clavicular who could have never a clavicular could never have happened in the 1980s, for example. But that's the reality of the world today. Brutal. Okay, so that's it for today. Again, Sorry for the dumbed down version of this video. I promise you, if you want to go look at the original video, check me out on Rumble for the uncensored, the real hardcore cut of this video. And I will be posting hopefully more uncensored version of Rumble. So please like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy it. Like and subscribe to my Rumble video as well. And I've got a ton of more ideas during my enforced hiatus that I've come up with, and I hope to share those with you soon. So until the next time, see you.